Hey family, it's the Divine Reframe coming to you in your timeline from mine, so we align. I love saying that, it's actually hilarious. Um, get comfy. I actually spilled it over and I kind of like looked at it and I nearly beat myself up because I realized like every time I would spill something growing up, my mum would like say something, whether it be milk, whether after, and then after a point, she would try and act like she doesn't care. So she'd be like, "It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Just clean it up. It's fine." Very passive aggressive, and I didn't realize that the universe kind of lets me make mistakes because they're not actually mistakes. If you learn from it, it's not a mistake. I wouldn't have learned from it if I didn't do that. You can see my vinyls over there. I only have about 4, but yeah, just continuing on conquering disorder. So whatever you do to get comfy, roll up the J, because there's gonna be things that I say that everything I say is very much encoded. There are layers under the layers of the layers, in between the layers, outside the layers, deep beneath the layers, and on the surface of the deeper layers. Like there's just everything is alive and moving, so it always applies to me. So yeah, in the other video I was talking about how just about conquering disorder, and the Wi-Fi still doesn't work. Like whenever something crazy is about to happen, like breakthrough wise, something always just stops working. I'm like, okay. And at first I was like, oh my god, what have I done, but I realized, sometimes get out of your own head and realize you haven't done anything. It's just how it is. And it's about your response, not necessarily about what is actually happening. Do you want it to continue? Will you let it stay in your reality, kind of thing? And it's so telling that this cup has mushrooms on it, because, and it says season's greetings. Okay, it's actually like a Christmas themed cup, but it's my mushroom cup for the times that I have magic mushrooms, like the coffee format. Yeah. Oh, still a bit hot. So annoying. I don't have hay fever. Like, bro, I'm convinced the universe just. Let me stop blaming the universe. Y'all niggas ain't do nothing. Some imagine you are distant time removed, but you changed the style. Anyway, so in conquering disorder, I've had a few standards, like that I want to be excited to eat with people. Like eating together with someone is such a spiritual practice, first of all, and secondly, like I've covenanted myself to people through food, and not in a good way, and God broke it all when I got baptized. Like baptism for me has a very different meaning than other people. I know they say that like you're accepted into God's family, which is true, when you get baptized, but I think that the baptism is a physical, it's just a 3D response to everything that I was doing in the spiritual. My birthday was October 20th. I did shrooms on October 21st and read all of Matthew, and then that day I got baptized, my cousin was there, and I slept for like 16 hours. And I had 10 days of straight bliss. Like, I'm saying 10 days, I wasn't thinking about my mother. I didn't know what to do because I hadn't thought past that date. So all I knew how to do was just be. I have loads of videos from like around that time, and you can just tell how different I looked, how different I sounded. Like, I started looking like this, and I remember just telling my mom I got back. As you know, a part of me wishes I didn't tell her, because she had a very high standard for me after that. She was like, yeah, God's come through for you. She was very like, yes, she's coming back. And then when I went to my childhood church, because God took me back to release me. That's what the baptism was for me. Releasing me from everything that I thought was me. Every decision that I thought was wrong, every thought, every subconscious programming, it all felt like release. Now you have the power in your hands. It's truly your life now. In October. And that was the second time I had done shrooms, I believe. So the baptism wouldn't have hit the same if I hadn't done shrooms anyways. It's different for everybody. Like, even then, everybody was very excited to get baptized, and I was walking back every time. I'm actually going to talk about it, but I've had such intimate and deep experiences with the divine, and I haven't told my mother doesn't know anything, my father doesn't know anything. They don't care. As bad as I want to justify them, like, every time I try to justify my parents, God is like, what are you doing? Like, can you express how you feel without worrying about... Because really and truly, if the Eternal knows what I'm feeling inside, then I'm only expressing it in the 3D because that's how I need to process it. I need to verbally process the fact that my mother and father, we would text more than we would talk in real life. And that made me believe that I could never find people online who would just bash me for taking long to respond. Or yeah, the first time I left the house when I went to uni, she had everybody calling me, asking me like, why aren't you responding to your mother? Like, she said to my cousin, tell her that she should have the decency to at least reply. We don't speak, but it's when I leave is when you want to talk to me. I went to uni, that was 18, 17, that entire year we did not speak. She didn't even want me to go outside of London for uni. Like, the shit that I've had actually gone through, like, there's no way I'm gonna be silent anymore. It hasn't done me any good, it's just suffocated me. Anyway, the reason why I made this video was because I just need God to help me get through this, and I want to explain why. So my mom goes to her man, right? And I don't choose when I fast anymore. Sometimes it just happens. And then I'm like, okay, what are you trying to teach me? Right? Because I get revelations when I eat, and I get revelations when I don't, to when I realize that eating is one of the most beautiful things. Like, the pleasure, the taste. Like, I used to be so disconnected from my body that I was always eating in survival mode. And every time I ate my mother's cooking, I was just eating that stress, that subconscious fear, that survival mode, because she's making the food out of... She's not making the food out of love. When I went to uni, that food was made out of love because I wasn't there. Do you get it? But that's already proof for me that I need to love her from a distance. And it's also that people don't realize your value until you're gone. You know, I wish it wasn't like that. But anyway, so she goes to her man's house yesterday, doesn't say anything. I don't care. She doesn't owe me anything. She would always make an excuse that, first of all, the only reason that I know she has a man is because I asked her. She would have never told me. The reason why we are where we are today is because of me. There is nothing. Every time I apologized to, and I specifically did it in December because I just needed to release myself. And I was like, I told her specifically what I was apologizing for. I was very conscious of what I was doing. And she said, yeah, no, same. Anything that I've ever said to you, I'm really sorry. Like, can you just shut up and let me apologize? Why do you have to make it about you? Why do you have to, like, you are not sorry. You would have never said that to me. You've never said sorry to me in real life. I think I'm just feeling tense. And anger, suppressed anger, that I thought God wanted me to, like, I don't know, I just thought he was the same as my mother, you know? You know, I love crying, but I'm not used to recording it, like. I just thought he wanted me to, like, blank my trauma. Anyways, the eternal he's not the trauma of my past. He just wants me to talk about it because he knows other people are also going through it, and I shouldn't have to feel bad if I don't want to go out for food with her. So it was her birthday last year. That was the month after I did shrooms, and that was the real test. That was the real test for me. Seriously. We would only eat together on Christmas Day. Yeah, that's it really. And I always spent my birthday like with people, even though I don't think I'm friends with any of those people, but my birthday was always an amazing day. And like last year when I spent it alone, it was fucking amazing, man. It was actually exactly what I needed. My God. And that was when I realized, like, oh my God, like life is moving forward, you know? Sometimes you just need to get past the date. And like shrooms kind of helped me forget time even existed in a sense. It just felt like me, myself and I, but not in an alone sense. Every time I take shrooms, I'm very conscious that I'm never alone. It feels like I'm being guided the entire time. But the thing is, like, people don't do shrooms alone. A lot of people don't do shrooms alone. And I remember the first time I did it alone, I was like, to be fair, my first shroom trip, you know, when I really saw visuals, I saw them alone when I was here in this room looking out this window. That was the first time I saw real visuals, and I wasn't too scared to do shrooms alone after that. And then I did the shrooms again the day after my birthday here, and that was when I read all of Matthew, because I just wanted to know who Jesus was, not in a sense of like sticking to the Bible, or because he didn't even need me to read it. The point was that I just wanted to, and he let me. You don't have to read the Bible to know Jesus. Like, we're all Jesus to get it. That's why I don't push the Bible on people. But the Bible itself, growing up, was thrown at me too many times. I remember, like, my mom constantly saying, don't ever get tattoos. And, you know, she was going to the Old Testament. Here we are today, y'all. And look, I have the name. It's almost like, that's why I believe, like, the eternal is real. I love calling God the eternal. And it just sounds better, like, bro, God is us. Do you know what I mean? Anyways, so he, I forgot what I was trying to say. But the point is that I thought God wanted me to like dismiss my trauma. To be fair, I wasn't even aware that it was trauma because I wasn't talking to anyone about it. But everybody that I did tell about my mother, they were like genuinely concerned. Genuinely concerned. Like you shouldn't go back home kind of thing. Like a lot of people were really worried for me when I dropped out of uni. Which is why a lot of people have quite like, when I kind of explain what I've been through, people are like, how are you like this? Like, how are you so loving? Like, it doesn't even make sense. I'm like, bro, the eternal help me, y'all, because oh. Like, I fully realized, like, I hated myself because she hated herself and she hated looking at me. When I started, like, doing my hair myself, when I started working, when I started wearing my own clothes, every comment, fuck me. And I didn't know that it wasn't normal to live like that until I had told somebody about it. And they were like, what? Like, girl, you need to talk to a doctor. And I was like, can't do that. And even when I did try it, she circled around the GP and it made me so paranoid I didn't go to my appointment. And that was like an autism assessment one. I do think I'm a little neurospicy, but it was almost like the universe didn't let me, because if I did get diagnosed, I wouldn't have moved forward. I would have just been like, well, I think I just wanted to prove her right. And also because I am fully convinced my mother is highly functioning. Fully convinced. Like, you cannot tell me that she's cool. Most religious folk who haven't unpacked trauma, you know, forgiven themselves, basically anybody who, you know, believes in something higher but it's not reflective in their life, it's not reflective within. I'm talking about my pain, but I'm not projecting my pain onto you. Why? What the hell is that gonna do? Anyways, that's what people who haven't like faced their shadow, that's what they do. And I think she just sees me as her shadow. And yeah, so I'm assuming she got paid today. And at 9 she says, bear in mind I told you guys my spiritual name is Divine. The name that she gave me was Kim because my father told her to do that. But the voice that was in her head told her to name me Divine, and then said name her Joy. So now it's almost like the Eternal has, I didn't have a say in that. So the Eternal, not that he owes me, it's not that. He doesn't owe any human being anything. It's that Divine has a life, you know, that I couldn't think of because I wasn't her. I wasn't trying to listen to my higher self. She could have named me my higher self, but she chose not to, and that's okay. She said, and she never asks me anything. It's very much statement. So I remember, you know, she before this, she said, try log on the laptop. There is a few maths on there. I will give you 20 next week for doing it. Like, I don't need money to help you with your shit, but it's the fact that you don't ask. Which is very reflective. You know, maybe I'm not asking the universe for the things that I specifically want. Maybe saying I want to live alone is too vague. I just want a 3D extension of a house that I can call home, because I finally feel home. I make the home. Do you get it? There's a reason why she keeps like drawing to me, but this relationship is also very reflective of the guy that I used to talk to, that I was telling you guys that I blocked. Because they're the same. They would rather go out for food with me than sit with me and talk to me. And that's how I know that they never really knew me anyway, because you would know that I would rather a picnic in the park with a J. You would know that I would rather a day trip to Paris or something. You know, I would rather, or like even just to another city. Like, I'm talking about, you know, the same repetitive thing over and over again. I'm just tired of being bribed for my time. My time cannot be bought. And like I said, because I didn't think past this date, there are things that even Kim wouldn't tolerate it. Like, she would have never asked me. She would have never asked Kim, let's go out for food. Never. But because she has seen changes, and, you know, I just don't respond in the same ways that I used to. She would try to provoke a response of the flesh. I feel like not everybody, the people that hold on to a certain version of me, they try to provoke anger. They try to pull me down in frequency to theirs, and I'm just not having it anymore. Anyway, so yeah, so she asked me at 8 yesterday, hi Kim, how are you doing? I replied at 11. I said, hey, I was sleeping, I'm all good, thank you, how are you? And then at 9 she sends all of these texts at once. Hi Kim, I'm okay, thanks. We need to go out and eat Sunday. What do you think? And then XX, talk when I come. Do you want kebab or the other chicken? So we always had this little thing, you know, we like kebab. But I don't know how to explain it. Like, oh, that's the thing I was gonna say. I just remembered. So the month after I did shrooms in July 2023, her birthday is in August 2020. Her birthday is in August, and she's so lucky that I even had an off day on that day, because I was working at this time. But this was, you know, part of my rewiring, that I'm not the problem, and I don't have to accept the relationship that she's offering when I know that I deserve more. But I don't have to pull it out of her. I just have to set boundaries. And oh man, my point is, there are people who will make you so excited to look at your phone. So I remember, like, now, before I would wake up and like go straight, like, doom scrolling, you know, back in the day. Now I wake up and I'm just so appreciative for being alive. I'm like, yeah. And then I go on my phone and I'm excited to see who's said what content do I need to look at. I've told God, like, control my algorithm, because sometimes I'll watch. But the first video that I saw as soon as I opened TikTok was exactly what I needed, because I woke up and I saw this message and I was not happy. Yeah, for a lot of my life, I didn't realize until I was fasting that people were buying my time with food. And I thought we were just genuinely like eating together. It's also, though, like, God will use anybody. Like, people pay for me quite a bit, and he was showing me that even at 0, I got you. Okay? And the reason that you at 0 is not because I want you there. I just wanted you to see some things that you wouldn't have seen if you weren't at 0. I just wanted you to see. That's all. You asked for my eyes, so I had to give you my eyes. And I don't live from a place of lack. I'm talking about the eternal, so neither do you. And if he is the divine and he names me divine, and my own mother couldn't name me divine, then I'm never gonna be divine to her. She can't see divine. She can't see. All she can see is Kim. And Kim has already given the power over to me. She's like, girl, it's on you now. So if I don't move, all these other infinite versions of me, they will still be moving, but not at a pace where my failures can branch off into real success. And like one of the ones is that I'm already like, no, I wouldn't say a YouTuber, but I have a community of like-minded people. And it's like, I remember just pushing past and being like, no, the world is not like my mother. The world is not like my mother. The divine is not like my mother. So many things. I knew friends who my mother would hug them and she would never hug me. I think she has amnesia or something. I don't know what it is, where she just forgets everything that she's ever said to me. But I also think it's like an ego thing, that if she remembers everything she's ever said, she would probably have no drive to live. So she has to convince herself that me working is me providing and knowing, and Kim knowing that I love her, when actually she's just doing it out of survival mode, and there's no other option for her but to work. She doesn't have anything else. She doesn't really have friends. She doesn't like it when her man goes out. Well, if you don't like that, then don't go for a man that goes out. If I'm saying I want a man that I can do shrooms with, but then I date somebody who says they'll never do shrooms, is it that they're the problem, or that I'm trying to change somebody who is... You shouldn't be trying to change anybody anyway, including your parents. When I say conquering disorder, I'm saying half of the things that you're going through did not start with you. But now it's our job to acknowledge it, take responsibility, not understanding that it didn't start with us, but it will end with us. Otherwise, our children will have to repeat this. They'll be making videos, and technology will be even deeper then. They'll have an even deeper expression of creativity. The next generation is always smarter than the previous. And I don't know when I'm gonna have a kid, but I just feel like it's not gonna be long. I don't know. I'm only 20 though, so chill out, guys. But I'm saying by like 27, because I used to think kids were such a burden, but I just saw myself as a burden. Everything that I thought about kids was because of what I went through as a kid, and so I said, I'm not having kids because I don't need them going through that. But then the divine was like, no, the fact that you don't even want them to go through that already shows that you are seeing things beyond what your parents saw. If your parents can't apologize to you in real life, and yet you want to apologize to your children anytime you fuck up, like, I am going to tell my child, like, I don't know everything. Do not look at me, honor me because I'm your mother, and because I'm the one that brought you into this world, that the Eternal chose me for you years before I even had anybody to... I don't even know who their father gonna be, y'all. I feel like Mary out here. I just been chosen for a child that's not in my womb yet, but technically she is. And he wants to reframe parenting for me. He wants to reframe kids for me. He wants to reframe relationships, marriage, everything. Like, I think it's the legal writing of it. But I'll definitely do ceremony, reception, something intimate and just good. Like, I remember growing up, like, I said I will never get married, and people were like, I can totally see you getting married. I'm like, what? I used to hate that, but it's because Kim hated it. Divine doesn't hate it. But if you're asking like who I am right now, I'm Joy. But you have to really understand there are many different versions of you, because you won't really understand the switching of names. I'm not switching names. I am more than a name. God has more than one name. Some call him Source, some call him the Divine, some call him Yahweh, some call him, like, there's so many different names. Elroy, like, there's so many. El Shaddai, Adonai, bears, bro. And it's like, bro, some just call him the Light, some call him the One, the All. Is it about the name, or is it the fact that we know we're acknowledging a higher being who is beyond anything we could ever really perceive? The fact that he even has he doesn't even have a name like that. It's just that in the 3D, even in the Bible, like Moses said, like, who am I gonna say sent me? He said, I am. I am that I am. What? So a lot of people, so when I always hear, like, you know, people manifesting online and stuff, and they say, I am this, I am that, it always just reminds me of how we are literally God. And, you know, I am deserving of love. I am love. And I deserve better than this, is what I'm trying to say. Like, this makes me completely unmotivated to want to go out for food with people, completely unmotivated to text people. And it's not me. My name is Joy. She doesn't bring out that side of me. She deliberately calls me Kim. She knows. I'm telling you, she knows. She's not stupid. Like, we think our parents are stupid or something. We try to justify, you know, maybe they just don't know. They've been on this earth double the time you have, and you think they don't know. And I remember in the first video I made, I was literally like, God, I'm not talking about you if she gets the credit. I'm not doing it. If people are like, wow, you know, your mother raised you so well, you must have amazing parents. Like, what's crazy is I've always met people that are like that. They be saying that, like, you know, like, I'm so grateful for your parents and things like that. And I take it. I'm like, you know, me too. But do they have anything to do with my growth? No. I honor them because they brought me in the world. It's not necessarily that they wanted me to stay. But the universe did, which is why I always say that the universe got you. The universe is God. Stop looking for his face. Look in the mirror. And, you know, let me just reply real quick. You know what's so funny? Last time she gave me money and she was like, make sure you don't go buy that thing. That thing being weed. Bear in mind, that's the exact substance that I use on, like, my smoking talks, or I did all of this smoking weed, all of that. And, you know, just that creative outlet, it helped me love my sober state, if that makes sense. I mean, sobriety for me isn't determined by you not using substances. It's just your state of mind, because somebody who's never done mushrooms can be fully awakened. Somebody can be fully awakened and never do any substance, but I needed a substance to be awakened. I needed a tool. Some people don't need tools because it's different levels of consciousness. So, yeah, Sunday, going out to eat on Sunday, that's not what I want. And I thought that I had to have a reason. I thought, oh, am I not healing enough? Like, what is it? But I didn't even finish what I was gonna say. I said in August, it was her birthday. Her man was meant to go out with her. He never showed up. And so I said, like, let's just go out for food together. And that's what we did. And you can tell she was so upset. I did smoke a J before I went there, because before we left though, because I was like, bro, I can't do this. But I remember thinking that God is with me and he's not gonna make this more awkward than it should. But like even the food, I couldn't really eat it. It was a bit, I don't know, it just wasn't, I just did it for her. Like I didn't get anything from that. I just said, God, thank you for dropping my, because I was scared of her at a point. Like my inner child was very scared of her for reasons I will learn when I leave. God doesn't want me to remember certain things here, and I have to respect that. He knows and has seen more than I could ever imagine. So there's a reason, and I remember saying, like, God, like, can you teach me how to say no? Can you teach me that if I feel an intuition that I shouldn't do something, I'm not going to do it. And you know, when certain people touch my hair, it's like my hair repels them. My friend was touching my hair when we were watching Netflix, and it felt like he was digging into my scalp. But it wasn't that he was digging into my scalp. My hair was saying, we don't like the hands of this person. And I didn't know why, but it was because he was lying to me. Listen, the 3D is very much conscious, is all I have to say. Like, this remote is conscious. You don't think it is, but if you were on mushrooms, you would see all these buttons as eyes. It might even start floating a bit. You're like, wow, wirelessly connected to the TV. You'd even start talking to the TV like, thank you for speaking, thank you. Because you know, I feel like TV shows is like preparation for whatever your subconscious can show you. So like I was saying before, how sometimes if I watch a TV show, it will come in my dreams. I thought that was a bad thing at first, but it's because my subconscious now has something to use that applies to my situation. And I need to remember the dreams that I had today. I had like 4, bruv. It's just, but I remember waking up feeling very upset. It had something to do with my mom, but I woke up feeling very upset. Not upset as in sad, like because of what had just happened. And it was so fresh in my mind. You know when you need to take a breather? You know when you need to take a second when you wake up? Like, I feel like I'm coming back into this reality and I'm like, wait, what? What is she doing in other realities? And I think sometimes the universe will show me, but I don't know, like, there's so much love that sometimes it feels like the universe is like, we are not traumatizing you more than you've already been. We are not doing that. But we want you to unpack it slowly. We have to show you something. So there's a reason why I woke up feeling that way. And if I choose to remember, I choose to remember. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to be happy with what they show me, right? It means it's real. I don't go to church, but my spiritual father, like he's in the video when I was like, you can't look up and look down at the same time. And I was basically saying how, like, it's not even a church, like, that is beyond church is all I'm trying to say. Even church was reframed for me, like, I am the perfect person. And that's why I was like, Lord, anybody that has experienced religious trauma, I know we call it church hurt, but church hurt completely dismisses the fact that spiritual abuse is real. And we don't take things real if there isn't like physical evidence of it. If you don't have physical evidence of your trauma, then it's not real. And I realized that I was hurt all of those times by religious people so that I could talk to those same people. My friend sent me a TikTok of like this poetry. It was so beautiful. And this woman was saying that basically, long story short, her friend committed suicide. And the mother said, God loved him, I didn't, or something like that. And I was like, And she said, like, why would I ever go to heaven? It sounds like complete agony. Why, if God was real, why would this happen to me? Or like, and I said, my God, do you see what human beings have done to us? I used to be fully convinced that God did not speak to me. Nope, 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 no. Like, we have no problem with, like, the eternal, with Jesus. It's the ones that serve him. And to be fair, they're not even serving him if they're doing that. It's the ones that say they follow Jesus. It's the ones that are really in religion, that follow every word in the book, that are in the most bondage. They are the most hurtful. They are the most rude. They are the most arrogant. And it made me laugh. Like, people think that demons and all that are, oh, they're outside in the club, like these places. Sir, they're in the church. Not in all of them. I'm saying that I've sat in church and I felt the presence of demons. Like, they're chilling in the church. When I'm watching Prophet Lovi, I remember it was the baptism service. I think it was in around April. He's my spiritual father as well. And like, when some people would go in the water, they would come out and they would like start manifesting that like whatever was within them. Do you get it? So like, then they're trying to like fight what the resurrection. That's why I said it's a release. It's also an initiation. I think it's both and, but for me it was a release of everything that you think you are, everything that you think you know, everything like that. I just got a message from my plug. I'm like, I need to. So I was kind of realizing that the reason why it's hard, it's not hard to get weed, like it's really not. But the reason why it wasn't coming to me in the 3D, despite me trying to, beside me being fully conscious that that's what I want, it was because of all the times that I smoked in this room and my mother infiltrated my subconscious mind. Like back in the day when, you know, your parents still had a say over what you do and think and feel. And I was like 17. I was talking out the window. It happened countless times though. I would talk out the window and I would be talking to God and I'd be like, where are you? Like, I just don't see you. Like, I'm not saying that, you know, like, I know you don't speak to me, but like, I don't really know what else to do. You know, God has always had a heart for me. When I was crying, he was crying. I need to put you guys on some good tunes. He cries when you cry. He weeps when you weep. He understands the pain. He understands the pain. Wait for me to write my own songs, y'all. Y'all gonna know God is real, because how the fuck are we still here when our parents have told us time and time again we shouldn't be here? And somehow, and a lot of the time, I think suicide is to wake up the people that have lost somebody. I know a lot of people that committed suicide and something stopped them just before. Something. But the ones that actually did commit suicide and transition, we have to understand that they are living a much better life than what they had here. You know, I don't really know how to explain it. I think it's different for everybody depending on their level of consciousness, what was going on in their past life, and how, if they reincarnate, if they choose to reincarnate again. It's all what is this tiny fly? Like, I'm actually pissed. You know, I love creation, but I have to know why flies were created. Like, bro, what even is that? And it's just hovering around my hot chocolate. No. And I haven't had coffee in so long. I need coffee. Not in that way. Like, I really want to make coffee beans. I want to go to Kenya, get some coffee beans and make my own coffee. That's just, not addictive, that just makes you feel like I want slightly to make a coffee that's got like that magic mushroom kind of feel to it. Ugh, fuck's sake. I'm actually tired. But I am learning that if I want to do something, it's because another version of me has already done it. It's just that when it comes into this realm, it translates as a want and need because of my level of consciousness. Instead of when you have a download on shrooms or you smoke, it's no longer a want or a need. You kind of receive a full way on how to do it. I'll receive a full poem, a full song, like a full business plan. I'm like, bro, what? You really thought that out? I was like, oh my God. Anyway. So I just hope that this made somebody feel better about conquering disorder and just not entertaining the BS that you've gone through with your parents. Like, a lot of us just forgot our trauma, which doesn't help, because when you try, like when a man or a woman would like try to touch me, like their hands would just feel fucking weird on my body. It would feel weird. It's like I don't like the feeling of these hands, so I would come out of my body and just watch myself and wait for it to be over. That was all I was thinking, like, when is this gonna be over? I never climaxed. I just acted like I did. Yeah, physical intimacy was really sad for me. But like, when was the last time I had sex? I can literally count how many times I've done it. It wasn't 2023, it was 2022. And it was like, I think somewhere in 2022. I think summer. Yeah, somewhere around that time. It's been a while. It's been over a year and a half. And like, I don't know, now it's been reframed for me in such a way where I'm like, oh, you know, I wasn't enjoying it because of what had happened to me, not because of what is happening. It's not that sex is a bad thing. Sex is how we all got here. The same mother who told me, you know, fear, like men are bad from when I was like 4. So then when I was a teenager, all I kept saying was, men are trash, men are trash, men are trash. Some women were saying it because they were actually hurt by men, but I was attracting men who would make me say that because my subconscious was trained to believe that all men are bad. So I couldn't really call God my father. Like, I didn't really like the name God the Father, because I was like, I don't really feel like you're my father. And he was never mad at me for saying that. He just wanted me to say it. He was like, you're already thinking it, you might as well just say it. Just be honest about how you feel. Let it flow through you. When you hold it in, that's when it becomes... And people can feel the tension. They just don't know, obviously, that it's from trauma. They may start assuming that you don't like them or whatever. It's not the case. It's that you are holding things that can only be expressed through words or even just creating. But I hope I was able to express some of the way that you were feeling, you know? I know I say roll up in every video, but shout out to the ones who don't smoke and watch me. Like, actually shout out to you, because I know I have too many friends that don't smoke. But I'm just saying, like, it's nice to have people that don't judge. That's all. And I needed to just share just green shrooms in general in a brand new light. A light that I had always had but just never shared. I was just on a low vibration. I was brought down to the hellish realms, and it's time for me to ascend. I've had enough. I'm done here. I've suffered enough, and I choose not to hold it all in. I choose to release again. and I'm fucking done. You know what I mean? Like, talk when I come. It's not even like, you know, do you want to go out for food? Even now, when I make new friends, they always ask me like, what would be your favorite thing to do? Or like, I really want to smoke with you. Like, where do you live? I totally want to come and meet you. They don't even tell me to go out because they know that I don't work, and like, they support my content. They interact with my content. They fully believe that content creation, like, I can get there. So who's stopping me? And like, then I remembered my mother told me like, I'm not gonna, like, photography won't get me anywhere. She used to take a lot of photos before she had me. So I think that like Cleo said, you know, I was just raised under a roof of unfinished dreams. And yeah, she doesn't give me money because she knows. And like, it's so funny how, like, before I would spend my last dollar on weed. Like, the fact that like now if I receive, all I want to do is do something internal. I'm not even like smoking it all. I'm like, no, I'm gonna smoke and use and make a YouTube video about this. I want to smoke and paint. I want to smoke and go on a walk to the lake. And then I'll text somebody that I've met and be like, hey, like, are you free? You want to come over? And it's like, because, you know, when my mother works, I obviously have the crib to myself. I mean, I've had the crib to myself since we got here. I don't know what to tell y'all, but I'm so grateful. But I won't say that I haven't had people in my life that felt like siblings. I know what siblings feel like, and I know in my previous life I had a really big family, so I had to kind of choose something. I chose something else this time. And I used to have this like kind of vision of seeing these like two outcomes. And I remember saying, oh my God, like, I'm gonna choose that. Like this. I remember, I kind of like almost remembered myself choosing this life. It's not clear, but like, I wanted to really choose one other one. And then I looked at like, I just saw like a trailer, you could call it. And I said, oh my, like, I felt so deeply for this avatar that I was like, no. And then I was like, no, I have to choose her. So I'll find out in due time why I chose to be here. I definitely believe it is to learn and to teach. I always had a problem with teachers in school as well. I just thought, and I could just see right through them. I'm like, you are so depressed. You shouldn't be here. But it's the fact that like, teaching, when people do like community things, when people are working in a, you know, like say care home, things like that with children, it makes them feel better about themselves if they look after somebody that's not themselves, even though that is obviously a reflection of themselves still. So they are looking after themselves in a way, but they're not, because they would rather focus on that person. I'm not talking about the people that work with other people like in hospitals and stuff, because they genuinely have a passion to help. Do you get it? There's a difference between working because you have a genuine passion to help people and working because you don't want to focus on yourself and it makes you feel better. But it's just very weird how she said that all at once, and it made me think like, her true colors are really gonna show when I get money. I already have it, but I'm saying in this time, it felt like the Eternal was saying, you're not the reason you don't have money anymore. Even when I had the poverty mindset, I still had money, bro. I was just spending it real fast. That's literally all that it was. So now to realize, oh wow, it's not me. And God wants to give me my own way to make money. Like, he doesn't want me to have the 9 to 5. I get really depressed when I think about 9 to 5. Not because it's bad, because it's not in alignment with my destiny. That's not what... I am the one that's meant to go first. Every time I post on social media, somebody says, you're inspiring me to post more. I actually should make a YouTube account as well. I need... Like, people are always telling me that it's a... and I always say it's a ripple effect. I just had to go first. So that's why I really resonated with Jesus, because he had nobody, like there was no blueprint for him. He was the blueprint. He had to go first. And when he got baptized at 30, and he obviously, listen, I'm talking like, I know his whole life. I don't. We are his whole life. All of our experiences, everything that we've ever done, we cannot be separated from him, is my point. No matter who tells you what. A guilty conscience is separation from God, because you can't be separate from God, because you can't be separate from yourself. Anyway, so, because wicked people are fully aware that God exists. They're fully aware. They just don't care. They have a role to play as well. They're employed to be wicked. So you either try and fight the wicked, try and fight the rod, or get on the side of the one who swings the rod. I said, let me get on the winning side, man. I'm tired of the rod. The rod that it wasn't even meant for me, like, bro. So yeah, Jesus just really resonated with me, because I was like, damn, like, he came back, he's like, yeah, y'all, I'm the son of God. Not in a cocky way, but like, now he knows even himself. I always thought because we have to discover who we are through experience, I feel like he had to do that same thing, especially when the scriptures say he had to grow in wisdom and stature, had to learn obedience. He was probably thinking, why am I like this? What's going on? I really feel like he was bullied. I genuinely fully believe Jesus is us. My life is him. Our lives are him. But the problem is that we try to base this huge God in one book. And then your opinion of that book is clashing with somebody else's opinion of the same book, and then somebody's opinion of the other book. The Bible doesn't cancel out the Quran, and the Quran doesn't cancel out the Bible. You need to find the truth in them both. Period. Anyway, I still haven't texted her back, that's very telling. I'm just saying. We don't need to go out either. We don't need to do anything. I don't need to go out to eat with you. Think about it. Imagine saying we need to go out, as if us going out to eat is a regular thing. It was her man's birthday. I forgot what video. There was a video that I was talking about. It was in the beginning though. I think it was one of the smoking talks, like a love letter to my stoners. One of those where, no, I had my hair out actually. I think it was the one after that. And that was a great day, because obviously a different version of her comes out. Who she is with me is not who she is with somebody else. Do you understand? There are different versions of people. That's how I fully understood my mother. I was like, oh, I'm just getting the low vibrational versions of her. When she's looking after somebody or when she's with somebody else, they see like the brighter side of her, the side that laughs and binges maybe a show, I don't know. But I couldn't stand watching shows with her. She made a comment about everything. Oh Jesus. And don't get me wrong, I'd be making comments as well. I'm like, oh my god, no way, like, really? But she's asking me like I've seen it. I'm like, bro, I don't know. I'm finding out just as you are. And I remember we watched The Shack. If you've seen The Shack, my god. But different levels of consciousness. And her answer was, it's so sad that the daughter died. Like Maddie, I think that was her name. I feel like that wasn't her name. But basically the girl who went missing and was like killed. And he couldn't believe that God was real. Like, why would you let that happen, kind of thing. So The Shack was just all about forgiveness. And I was like, oh God, this is so good. This is so good. I feel so, like, every time I watch something, I feel like I'm releasing. I don't know, watching shows has always been so different for me. And I think that's even why people loved watching TV shows and movies with me, especially at uni. Bro, I remember eating an edible and I was with my friend at the time. and we were watching like the last episode of Grownish, and I think in one of those episodes, one of the last ones, they were eating edibles as well. It was a point where we couldn't even talk. We were kind of just like, we would look at each other and we'd like look at each other with our eyes, because that's how we're trying to laugh now, because we're so gone. I mean, I don't know if I would take edibles again. It just makes me too like slow, but maybe I would for the funny part of it. I think I just prefer shrooms because I feel more aware from like head to toe, in reality and out of it at the same time. Like it feels like a balance. Edibles feels like what's going on? Like edibles just makes me laugh and they eat. But I guess that's a good thing. Why is that a problem, you know? And then she sent me some thing on WhatsApp about German doner kebab. But that's how you know me and her aren't friends, because when I went to German doner kebab, they gave me raw chicken. And I haven't eaten from there since. But that's how you know. If only you guys knew how many times I've gone out for food. If only you knew. So these standards that I have are not for no reason. Like, I've just learned that conquering disorder includes saying no. Not just highlighting what's going on, but also responding to it and speaking the way that you would want to be spoken to. And it's so funny how everybody says I treat others the way I'd want to be treated. Oh, hi Jesus. I see Jesus in everybody. Even my mother, I see him. As much as I don't want to. The fact is, he's in everybody. Does that mean that they're conscious of it? Does that mean that they tap into that higher power? No. He's in everybody. That doesn't mean it doesn't mean that he has an out. Doesn't mean that they have given him an out. See, when I do mushrooms, when I smoke, when I record, now when I do anything, to be honest, when I write, that's his out. And he helps me express myself. Like, it just feels like somebody else is there, but it doesn't feel scary. Like, I don't know. I'm just gonna say, hey, I'm actually going... And you know her, she'll be offended. It's because she knows I'm not moved by food anymore. And I'll say it, I don't like German doner kebab. I don't like German doner kebab because they gave me... She said, that is fine. Look how quick she replied. XX. You know when, and you know what it is though? You know why she keeps trying? Because she can see the light in me. That's all it is. She can see the light in me. She just can't stand it. And she can't... She said, hi, I hope you're okay. Like, see, and you know, considering we've been together for so long, you don't have to say hi Kim every time. That's fine. Yeah, I used to get more money when I was young, bro. I used to get like a £5. When I was like 10, I would get like £5 every Friday. You don't know what you could get with £5 back in the day. My God, bag of things. Especially from the corner shop, all the sweets, anything that I ever wanted. Oh my God, I felt like I was on top of the world. And you know, at 10 years old, £5 every Friday, that was a lot of money. But I won't sit here and be like, I've always been financially free or stable. There was even times where, you know, you would be in the line in like secondary school or high school, wherever you live, like just so you know, when like between 13 and like 16, sometimes I would be in that line, yeah, in the lunch line, get food, and they're like, oh, you don't have any money. Huh? I'm holding the food. I'm holding my pasta. I'm holding my cheese. I'm holding my drink. You telling me I ain't got no food? But what was even crazier was they let it off sometimes. They let it slide only sometimes, because obviously you actually can't do that. Like, but a lot of the times they did let it slide. And then there was a time where you could go into minus. There was even times where I just didn't eat at all, because I was like, yeah, I'm tired of constantly hearing that I spend too much. And then that's why I started working when I was like 16. Basically, as soon as I could work, I started working. But that was just because my subconscious brain was running from my mother. And like, even in my dreams, I was running from her. But I was listening to my spiritual father, James Kawalia, yesterday. Well, actually, it was at like 1 a.m., innit? And he said, sometimes the universe will use a family member, not because the family member is trying to kill you or they're coming for you, but there is like a tie. Like, you're tied to this family in a negative way. Like, whether it be a family covenant, whether it just be a bloodline thing. So like, maybe my mother wasn't trying to kill me, but there is something that is stopping me from moving forward. And it could just be blood, flesh. So it was really interesting when I had benefits for 3 months because I listened to my mother. I actually listened to 2 people. She wasn't my godmother. I always say that. But I listened to them both, who told me, well, if you don't work, you can just get benefits. Like, what the fuck? Like, these are, women that pray every day. Where is your fruit? Where? This big God don't want you to have no money? Damn! And every time I receive payment, one, I gave to my mother. I'm not even working, and yet I still am giving. That benefit payment was once a month. And I'm giving her like £50. It wasn't even more than like 200. What the fuck? And then I just didn't complain about it. But I think the point was, I was meant to see that you keep giving. Stop it. You're not receiving nothing, Anyway, so at least we sorted that out. She said, welcome. She's pissed. You can just tell. You can't tell, but I can tell, because all we do is text. We don't speak in real life. Very minor, small conversations. And the intimate conversations I've had with her, she's turned them back on my face. Like, she would, yeah. The one that made me laugh was when we were in the car and she said, yeah, I remember you saying, like, you don't trust men. But she don't remember she's the one who told me not to trust them. Isn't that interesting when people pick and choose? That's when I realized, like, she's not... It's not that she doesn't hear me. She can't. We're on different frequencies. She cannot hear anything that I'm trying to say. Information without revelation would destroy her. And the universe would rather her ears be clogged than for her to hear it. And she just keeps pondering on information that doesn't make any sense to her. So with the rest of the benefits, all I would do was get mushrooms and get weed. I didn't record at this time though, because I was learning who I was, but it was fucking amazing. And guess what? I can still talk about the trip, so I'm definitely gonna talk about them. They aligned me in ways I didn't know I could be. They showed me that she was so deeply ingrained into my subconscious. And it's so funny because the real change hasn't even happened yet. When you physically leave, oh my god. And I replied to this really nice guy who I hadn't replied to for like 2 weeks. And I basically explained to him that, like, I value our connection, but sometimes I could feel my subconscious telling me I don't deserve this good thing. but I just needed to take time. And he was like, no, that's absolutely fine. And guess what he said? I don't get any bad vibe from you. He's like, I never did, and I didn't take it personally. Just know that if you don't want to talk, or you want to go, he just basically said, just be honest and tell me. And I was like, what was I worrying about? Like, there are people who are waiting to love me. Waiting. Just waiting. That person that they're dreaming of and thinking of, like, it's me. All of that suffering was worth it to be the most loving human being I could ever be, and I've only just begun. But I just wanted to say, you know, conquer disorder. And, you know, this is real. This is real life. You know, I don't come here with a plan. I just come here being me, and that's more than enough. Because if I can make somebody else realize that all you need is you, the answers you're looking for is within. If you've been feeling a type of way and my videos help you release the things that you didn't even know you needed to release, I've done it. But I also want to understand that I can think big. I can have the audacity to think big. And shrooms helped me think beyond myself. That there are so many people like me, and we all had, you know, certain levels of suffering. You know, pain doesn't choose its host, but it's the fact that, what are you going to do with that pain? Are you going to let it be pointless, or are you going to alchemize it? All of this pain with my mother, and one of the shroom trips was me microdosing and listening to Cleo Soul, and her album is called Mother, and it just helped me heal so much. I can't tell you how many times I've listened to that. I feel like I need to like cover it and sing or something. Like, I've really been wanting to make singing videos. I'm just not sure how to start. Like, do you just take a song, like the instrumental, and cover it? Can I just sing over the song? I don't really care. I don't care about income. I'm doing things I want to do because I can, not because of like copyright or anything like that. Do I just sing? Because even in silence is the loudest. So like, even if I just like did shrooms and I was talking for a bit, and I sang for a bit, talked for a bit, sang for a bit, and you guys like roll up, and or just do something productive as I'm doing it to help you, because music is transport. And if we can be transported to a place of love, and realize that love came from in here, my God, nobody can take it away. And I think when, even like in the scriptures, when it says, what the world did not give, the world cannot take away, I fully believe that's love. I fully believe that's love. You can't grab love from anything external. You can find love in everything, but anything that you see love in the external, in another person, if you see it in me, it's because it's in you. You just haven't processed that yet. You haven't processed that this level of love. And also, now you can be like, oh wow, my pain has purpose. It wasn't for no reason. Man, I have talked to men and women who have been through the fucking mud. And I said, why do I keep attracting people like this? Oh, because I've got some words of advice for them. They just need to be around somebody who listens and knows that they have already made it out. If you can talk about it, if you can acknowledge something and you're trying to process that this shit seems wrong, congratulations. You have a moral compass, and you're conscious, and you're using it. You just haven't had the words to articulate it. And if anyone knows, I understand. If anybody knows, I understand. So yeah, that's the video, and I feel happy, I feel content, I feel at peace, and I'm excited for another day. I'm not thinking about tomorrow, I'm thinking about today. Soon my brain will be able to think about tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that. Of course, all of this is for years, light years above me. I have it's like some of them are empty papers because I had the vision, but I hadn't received a full download. So like, I have an empty paper that says 2027 on it, and that's it. And since then I've been thinking, like, there's gonna be some mad shifts. Like, life is gonna be so different in 2027 is what I'm trying to say. But am I ready to know how? So yeah, this is life after death. There is life after death. That's literally what it is. Death, rebirth. So if everything is falling apart, if everything feels like, you know, it's crashing, it's because you about to die in a great way. Die to everything that you think you know, everything you think you deserve, everything that you say you can't do. You just surrender to every possibility. That's what death is for me in this time. Surrendering to every possibility that the universe has seen, everything that she said to me, to my face and in private and in her head and in her heart. So the universe actually knows her intentions better than I do, and they know mine. And the reason why I keep meeting more good people every day is because they're trying to show me, yeah, you're out. You're out. And we don't have a problem with you just telling us, giving us something to work with and saying what you need. The universe knows what I need, but if I can voice that, they're like, because now it doesn't sound too crazy. But I also have to let the universe blow my mind a bit, in a sense that, like, I've always been protected because I learned from experience. And like I said before on my whiteboard, the only thing you can do in this universe is love yourself. If everything around you is crashing, the only thing you can do is love yourself. That may be removing yourself from the situation. And honestly, loving yourself in your worst reality means doing the things you don't want to do. And if you don't know what to do, watch Everything Everywhere all at once. Get some food, relax, roll, or don't, literally, and just love yourself by watching your favorite film. But I'm saying watch Everything Everywhere all at once, or The Shack, whichever one tickles your fancy. Whichever one tickles your fancy. And the next letter I do has to be a mukbang. It has to. But life is good. And I'm just going to allow myself. Also, I never said, before I finish, all that stuff I was saying about Amsterdam. Do you know I know almost 10 people that live in the Netherlands now? From TikTok. But I didn't, I wasn't really using it that much when I was kind of complaining. But that's because of my own mind. And when I pushed through that, and I started texting people and stuff like that, when I got over the fear of posting, and they'd be like, you know, where are you from? You know, I'm from London. Where are you from? I'm from the Netherlands. What? I mean, I knew that I knew I could get to Amsterdam. I just didn't know. And then I met this beautiful woman. She lives in France. And long story short, she's definitely coming over in July. But I was like, universe, you know that I want to have like my own crib. And whatever I got to do to get there, if all I got to do is love myself and understand that I don't need to labor for a crib. There's already a crib with my name on it, including this one. Then I'll just keep pushing. Even if the 3D says you ain't got no money, I'm gonna tell you, yeah, that's what you saying. But I'm saying that I do. And I'm gonna wait for you to know. I'm gonna say it enough times so until you believe it, that I got money. I got all the money that I need, baby. I don't labor for what naturally flows. Somebody has made £1 million right now. It's 11 a.m. when I'm recording this. I said that before. Bro, money is flowing. We are the ones that are just, we are so low vibrational that we worry about it all the time. But I'm learning worrying about money is low vibrational, innit? But I'm kind of ready to put myself out there now. And if I wait until I'm ready, I'm just never going to do it. So, yeah. If you don't like where you are, keep moving. And if you're not fulfilled, keep fighting. That life you're dreaming of, yes, it's your life. And nobody can live it better than you can. Appreciate that you are breathing right now. And that your parents were not the ones, they're not the ones giving you breath. They brought you into this world, but they are not the ones giving you breath. They're not sustaining you right now. And if you have realized in this video how much you've let your parents into your subconscious, do not beat yourself up over it. Understand that we are friends and we're going to get through this together. And I just had to go first. It seems scary, but that's what Jesus did. He went first, and I'm just going first, but I won't be the last. I'm starting it, but I won't finish it. Technically, I ain't even going first. Jesus went first, but because I am him and so are you, you also will be going first. But he just had to create somebody to go first so that you feel less alone. And I don't feel alone. It's my subconscious that tells me that. And then you have to get to the root of that and then fucking pull it out, y'all. And like by the time she finishes work and she gets food, she comes home at like 9:30, 10. I'm like, I don't want to eat at 10 p.m. I'm going to sleep. I wake up at 3 a.m. Like, that's not gonna work, baby. And then by the next day, you know, obviously most food actually tastes better the next day, but I'm just saying my priorities have really, really changed, and I feel like the universe wants to give me food beyond anything that I could think of. My manna is them shrooms, so, and I can't carry it on to the next day. I've got to use it today and trust that they can provide tomorrow. So if all I've got to do is believe for today, that's all I am gonna do. Period. We're conquering disorder together. Bye, y'all.